Hello, my name is Robert Glatzy. I'm 23 years of age. I'm going to tell you about my life in football. Basically, as you can tell from my accent, I'm not from around the northeast, I'm from London. Basically, I left London when I was age of 1. I was actually originally born in Essex, in a place called Colchester, and I was born in Lexton in a maternity ward. I left there when I was 1 because my dad needed work and he got a site manager job in London in a primary school. We lived on site, and behind my house there was 2 football pitches of concrete, which I played on every day, and I played for the school when I got to the age. Basically, the concrete didn't help me in my future, but I'll tell you later on and you understand why. One evening I was playing and there was a Chelsea coach called Daniel Gill. Daniel Gill seen something in me and invited me to a game at Stamford Bridge to play for like a charity match with some of the under-21s and some of the coaching staff. I went and played and my parents come and watched, and so did my girlfriend as well at the time, I can remember. And they seen something in me. I scored 3 goals in that game and played out of position. I played central midfield, which I wasn't. I was a winger and a striker. I was given a trial with Chelsea, where I went to Cobham for a week. The day entailed getting up at 5:30 in the morning and making the hour and a half journey. So I had to get my parents to take me, which they done so, and my dad continued to work during the day and would pick me up on the evening and try and schedule it in with his work. Some days I would try and catch a lift back and then get a train as well on the evenings. Very long and tiring days. After the week, I was successful and people were talking about contracts. I didn't understand about contracts and my father didn't as well. So we seeked advice of another agent. Upon that, I started to play for Chelsea. I was on a hell of a lot of money, which I'm not going to tell about. I was on a yearly salary. As well as that, I had sponsors, Adidas, Siemens, and various others as well. Chelsea seen something in me and carried on playing me. I had 2 brilliant seasons. First season I scored 16 goals, then 28 goals in the second season, and the last season 22 goals, which was a good turn considering I had just come in. It was very hard and very demanding. And being professional, which meant not going out, not being stupid, and not letting girls get in my way. My football was the focus for me. At the same time as this, I was getting a hell of a lot of respect of all the youths that I was working with, because I still tried to maintain some of my youth working duties. And my manager would let me do so because he believed I was an asset. We used football as a glue on our estate to pull in all of the naughty lads and all of the naughty girls. At the same time, I was working with a lady called Daisy Gunnish, who used to play for England, and she played for Fulham and Chelsea ladies. She was an exceptional coach, and she had a real keen interest in me as well. Up at my time at Chelsea as well, towards the end of the last season, I incurred an injury that kept recurring and kept hampering me through my playing at Chelsea. This was called Oscar Slatter's disease, and it was going to be the end of my career. Basically what happens, Oscar Slatter's is a bump below the kneecap, and it's due to overplaying, overworking, and basically muscle development. If you imagine you have your knee, your ball, and there's a lump underneath that's niggling at you all the time, and it flares up red and it gets bigger and bigger. Went through physiotherapy and seen doctors at Harley Street. The club invested a lot of money into me and a lot of time and effort. Due to this, they had to let me go. As far as that concerned, it broke me as a player. I knew that was it was over, and that was the end of my career. Currently now, I'm coach of under-14s Division 5, which is the lowest division I've ever coached. When I first come to the team, I turned up as an spectator. With a lad called Callum Croft. I live next door to his stepdad. Turned up, he asked me my thoughts of the team, and by 20 minutes within the game I was screaming and bawling out. Football come out of me, the football coach, the football manager, the football player, it all come out. You can never get rid of it, it's a bug.
Ask him. Jump in a little bit more. You want the ball, man. Header! Good header!
And I always said to myself I'd never go into coaching or football. That was it, done. After I played at Chelsea and had the trial at Newcastle, that was me, done. It hurt me, it tore me apart. But there's still something inside that eats away with me. It's like a calling, and I have to do it. So half time come in and John and Dan Richards was there, and they said, well, Rob, what's your thoughts? Give him a pep talk. So again, the coach stepped in, spoke to the lads, told them where they needed to improve. The second half kicked off and there was a vast improvement within the first 20 minutes. I said, could I come back and help out? And now I'm like probably the main coach. I probably kind of took over the reins from Dan and, you know, Dan Ainsby as well. And, you know, and John's been assisting me and so the other parents, you know, I've kind of taken the pressure off Dan and the other lad as well. Because they didn't have any coaching qualifications, but I've maintained to keep Dan with me, Dan Richards with me, because I want to teach him everything I know and hopefully get him to progress where he takes the team on, or he's assisting me, you know, because I want to take this team to the highest level I can, you know, and whether that means breaking away from Stockton Rangers, because that's the club that we're under, and going for something maybe semi-pro or something like that, who knows. At the current time, there's a lot of players at the moment that are getting things wrong. I reckon that's due to the fact that they've had dads teaching them. They've never had someone externally that's not connected via family or friends or something like that. You know, I'm a complete stranger. You know, I remember shouting at the kids at half time and cheering them on. You know, one of the other players turned around to the manager and he said to her, "Who's that man shouting at me?" And she says, I remember her words, she says, "Well, you're gonna find out." You know, I've taken them on. The first 8 games of the season, they lost 7, they won 1. Look at the conversion rates now, you know, the last 6 games of the league, we've won, 1-5, 1-4 out of the 6, you know, so things are coming on. You know, we've just beat the last game where I was out of breath the last time I spoke to you guys on this. You know, we just beat a team that got promoted and they're going into Division 4 and we beat them 2-1 quite comfortably. You know, I think they had one long range shot throughout the whole game. The goal that they scored, you know, was a mix-up in defence. There's things that we need to improve as a whole. There's even things that I'm still learning from these young people, you know, and it gives me a broader perspective of them, you know, and their lives. And they're learning my ways are like London ways, you know, from Chelsea, things that I've been taught, you know, and they needed to adjust to me, and I think that that transition's starting to happen now, and they're learning how to me, and they're starting to respect them, and they're starting to respect me, and they're starting to play for me the way I want them to, and the results are showing that, you know. And next season, I reckon we'll make a strong push on the league, maybe winning it or being up there as one of the top teams. As well as that, I've got a few good players at the moment who think they're good, and some of them are really good, but some of them can be better. Some of them do that little bit extra. You know, Dan's brother, he's a sensational player. Jay Richards, the ball, he takes the touch too much. And I think if he was to fire the ball and shoot, he plays centre forward striker. If he was to hit the ball a bit quicker, I think he'd score more goals. You know, last season he scored 46 goals, I believe. And this season he hasn't got to 20 yet. You know, so to look at that and to look at him last season, you know, obviously he's going into a GCSE year. That's going to affect him, you know, schoolwork's becoming harder, you have coursework and stuff like that. But what I've said to some of the parents, you know, and Dan's brother Jay, you know, and I spoke to, and Dan's dad as well, I spoke to him and other players on my team, you know, if you're willing to put it in and listen to what everything I say and absorb it like a sponge, I've got the connections to push you places, you know, whether it be Sunderland's, whether it be people down south as well. You know, and I've also gave other options for giving them a chance, because playing in Division 5, there's not going to be scouts crawling all over the games, whereas a Division 2 or a Division 1 team, them leagues, there's going to be scouts going there every weekend, and I've seen that in the past. My goals and what drives me, my goal, my under 14s team who will be playing under 15s, we're in Division 5 this season coming. My goals, my young son to be a footballer, and to do everything that I did, but do it better with my guidance where I went wrong on my mistakes. That's all I can say really. I love football, you know, I think I'll always be involved in football, whether I stay at a low amateur level or whether I go back into football professionally. I don't think I'll ever go back playing. I've had the option, you know, it hurts me too much to say. It was only this evening that my dad said, "Rob, why are you coaching when you should be playing football? You have a natural talent." You know, but I said, he knows, he understands my situation, my leg would be a problem. And I said, I'd love to go back to play football, but I can do football every day. You know, maybe it might be a case of going semi-pro and doing a couple of training sessions every week and playing on a Saturday. But at the same time, if I'd done that, I'd be letting the young lads outside that are all outside now, probably listening at the door, I'd be letting them down, because everything that I've learned can help them become a better player as well as a better person as well. You know, because football's not just about being brilliant at the game, well it is, but it's also about being academic as well and having the right character and the right mindset as well. You know, if you're good at football and you don't make it at football, you have to have something to fall back on in life. You know, good education means a good job. You know, and especially with this climate the way it is, they need to have that. You know, and I think these years in their lives, 15 to 16, are some of the most important in their lives. And they need to put that into perspective. And I drop that into the lads. A stupid footballer is not a good footballer. You know, a person that doesn't work hard at school might make it in football, but if they come out of football, what they're going to have to fall back on. And that's what I've said to them, you know, and I hope they take it on board.